I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video, we'll take a few polar equations, convert them into rectangular equations, and then I hope it will help us to understand how to sketch them or how to visualize them. So the idea of this video is to convert polar equations into rectangular equations, right? So that is the whole idea. What do I mean by saying so? Polar equations, we are working with r and theta, and rectangular coordinates, we are working with x and y. So basically, equation which will be function of theta, and here y, which is a function of x, we are going to translate from polar to rectangular equation, right? Few key things which we are going to use for this type of translation should be listed before we get into details. We can always write a point x as r cos theta, y as r sin theta. We could say x squared plus y squared equals to r squared, and we can say tan theta is the ratio of y over x. Is that okay? So these are a few basic things which we are going to utilize for converting polar equations to rectangular equations, right? At times we may apply some trigonometric formulas to work around, since polar equations are in terms of r and theta, so trigonometry is kind of the best way to simplify our equations, correct? So let's take up very simple examples to begin with. Polar equation in terms of r and theta, we could have such a simple equation as r equals to, let us say 2, right? So r equals to 2. In polar system, r equals to 2 will mean what? In polar system, r equals to 2 will mean that every point is 2 units away. So that is the polar axis. So r equals to 2 will really mean that every point is 2 units away. So it means that kind of a circle, right? So it would mean a circle where we say that the points are 2 units away, right? Now, how does it translate to rectangular system? What is r? Well, r square we know is x square plus y square. Okay, so let's square both sides. So if I square both sides, I get r square equals to 2 square, which is 4, and r square can be written as x square plus y square, and that is 2 square. Perfect. Now in rectangular system, x and y, correct? So we have translated r into x and y. So we have an equation now in rectangular system. Do you see that? And it really means a circle with radius 2. Exactly the same thing. Do you get an idea, right? So we have translated polar equation to rectangular equation so easily. I hope you appreciate it, right? So it is that easy. You could actually just work with a few more examples. In general, if I write r equals to a, it means x square plus y square equals to a square, right? Does it make sense? I think it does, right? Now, let's take another example. R and theta. Let me take theta this time. So if I say theta is pi by 4. Okay, then it means what? So it really means that if I make a diagram here, theta means pi by 4 means theta is constant. That means the angle is pi by 4. So in polar coordinates, we should have a straight line, right? With the pi by 4 as the angle with the polar axis, right? So with the polar axis, it will go through pole, and with polar axis, it should make pi by 4 as an angle. So that is the line, right? Okay. Now, if I have to write it in Cartesian or rectangular equation, how can I do it? Well, theta, we know tan theta is related with y and x, so we can take tan both sides. Okay, good. So let's take tan both sides. Tan theta equals to tan pi by 4, and tan theta is y over x. So I'll write y over x is equals to, there's a value for pi by 4, and I think it is 1. Okay, so y equals to cross multiply x. So y equals to x, yes, it works. Y equals to x is definitely a diagonal going through the Cartesian system, right? So it's easy, right? So in a way, if I would have written theta is equals to was some angle phi, in that case, what do we get? So this is angle phi, right? So in that case, what we get here as a linear equation is y equals to tan phi, which is the slope, times x. Do you get the point? So tan phi is the slope, m, right? Tan gives you the slope. So this basically change in y over change in x is what we call slope. Is that okay? So that is the concept. Right. So we get translation of polar equation which gives you a line into another equation which really gives you a line, right? Y equals to mx, a direct variation kind of a thing, right? So that is how we can actually translate these equations, correct? Now we can take some examples which are slightly more complicated. So if I write down now r equals to, let us say 4 sine theta, right? So I kind of change this a bit. So r equals to 4 sine theta. This is indeed an equation which is in r and theta, so it's a polar equation. How do I write this in rectangular form? So here we have to do some more work. So we'll multiply by r on both sides. It becomes r times r. It becomes 4 times r times sine theta. Now r square and 4 times r sine theta. Does it remind you of something? R square is x square plus y square, okay. And 4 times r sine theta. R sine theta is y. So I'll replace this y. Now, we could bring it to the left side. We have x square plus y square minus 4y equals to 0. And here we can do completing the squares, okay? So x square plus y square minus 4y. How to complete this square? We have to take half of number 4, square it, which is 4. So we'll add 4 on both the sides. Okay, we add 4 on both the sides. So we get x square plus y minus 2, right? We added 4, half 2 square, right? So y minus 2 equals to 4, which is better to write as 2 square. Let me get back to it as 2 square. Now what does this remind you of? This is square, right? Y minus 2. Well, that is a circle. Do you see that? So this equation really represents a circle, right? Now, the only thing here is that this circle has center which is at x equals to 0 and y equals to 2. So let me sketch this kind of here now. Okay. So we'll sketch the circle here. So what we have is a circle. So we have an equation which is a circle with radius 2 and the center is at, this is center, we say O, the center for the circle is 0 and 2 and the radius r, let me write radius, you'll get confused with r, is 2, right? So that is the equation of circle. So 0 and 2, that means somewhere here 2 units away, and radius of 2, that means I could actually make a circle here. So we have a circle right there, okay? So we have a circle here. And this circle is with the center at 2 and radius at 2. So this becomes 0, that becomes 4 for us. Is it okay? So we could represent this equation. R equals to 4 sine theta in rectangular form, and that clearly gives us equation of a circle. So we could sketch it. Do you see that? So that's a kind of link which we could make with translating polar equations to rectangular equations, right? I hope that helps. So as a practice, what you can do is you can try few equations. For example, something like this, completing the squares is a must for you. R equals to minus, let us say we take minus 6 cos theta instead of instead of sine theta. So try this out. What does that represent? Now you'll find that sine theta is related with y value. So circle moved up by that value 2 times, right? 2 value. Is that okay? It was 4, half of this. So this equation, you'll find cos theta is related with x. So here the translation will be along the polar axis. So that is translated along the polar axis. Try to convert this and see your result. I hope that will help you. We'll take similar examples in coming videos. I'm Anil Kumar. You should subscribe and learn from my videos if you want. Thank you and all the best.